Hi, and welcome back. This is COMM1160, week number 3. This is video number 1. We're going to start talking this week about APA style, and we're going to cover APA style over 2 weeks. So this is actually our part 1. We're going to be doing an assignment this week, so I'll give you some details on that, but I wanted to spend the first few videos just going over APA style and giving you some information about formatting. So the first thing we should talk about is what APA style is. And probably everyone here has at least heard about APA style, or you've heard some rumors about APA style, or maybe you even had an experience or two using APA style. APA style is simply the way that documents, so say essays, assignments, scholarly papers, are formatted. Okay, it's nothing more, nothing less. It's actually just a set of rules, and it's really similar to the idea of the rules of the road. So everybody follows the same thing. So when you're driving, everybody goes when it's green. Everybody stops when it's red. Same thing with APA. We all format things exactly the same way so that there's consistency, so that everybody is doing the same thing. APA covers all sorts of things, from the way you set up a paper in Word through to how you show that you've used research material. And we're going to cover it in a lot of detail. But again, think about driving and think about the rules of the road. I'm going to assume that most of you drive, but even if you don't drive, I'm sure you've at least ridden a bicycle or something like that, and you've had to learn some rules about how to operate a vehicle. At the beginning, this is really overwhelming. So I know when I think back to ages ago when I first learned how to drive a car, I was sure that I would never remember all of the rules and that I'd never be able to drive properly the very first day I got behind the wheel of a car. Fast forward several years later, and now I drive and I don't even use my brain, right? My body just automatically follows all of the rules. With practice, I sort of internalized all of those rules. So I know when I'm going to turn, right, to put my blinker on. I know the maneuver to turn the steering wheel, and my body does it automatically. APA is exactly the same thing. But remember, if this is your first experience with APA, it will feel weird at the beginning, and there does seem like there's an awful lot to pay attention to. But with practice, just like with driving, you'll find that you start doing it automatically. So it's nothing to be afraid of. It's nothing to be intimidated by. I hear students all of the time when we're on campus freaking out about APA and worrying about all the different rules. And I want to say, you know what? Just take a breath, right? If you can ride a bike or drive a car, you can easily learn how to use APA. And in fact, eventually you'll be laughing when you hear other students panicking about APA style because you'll be so accustomed to using it. When do we use APA style? Well, on all healthcare papers and assignments, you're going to be using APA style. So from this point forward, any essay that you submit, any assignment that you submit, it should be in that APA format unless your professor states otherwise. So if they're giving you some type of assignment and they're just asking for question responses or something, they may say you don't need to bother with APA. But for anything else and for large assignments, the assumption is going to be that you're using that APA style. Professionally, so after you graduate and you start working in healthcare, anytime that you're writing material that integrates research, the expectation is that you will use that APA style. So APA is going to be part of your life from today until the day you retire. All right? You'll be using this format over and over. And like I said, it's just rules that everyone agrees are going to follow so that everyone is doing the same thing and everybody understands what everyone else is doing. At Niagara College, your program area professors are going to expect you to know and use APA. So we have a mix of students this term. Some of you are from the nursing program. Some of you are from the pre-health program. If you're in nursing, very shortly, the expectation is going to be that all of the written assignments that you're turning in for any of your classes are formatted according to APA format. In pre-health, assignments that you're doing now will be in APA format, but also as you move forward. So into program area studies like paramedic or nursing or dental, whatever it is you're planning on going into later on, that's the expectation. If you pursue studies at universities, so say if you were to go and do degree nursing or any healthcare related major at a university level, again, the expectation is that you're using APA format. So you're going to be using it all the time. Learning APA, as I mentioned, can be frustrating. Right? And it's important to realize that there will be some frustration. It also is pretty dry. Okay, so I'm going to warn you, it's not the world's most exciting thing to focus on, but it is very, very necessary. As I mentioned before, just like rules of the road, with practice, you'll find that you're able to use it quite easily. It really doesn't take any brain power. Okay, so APA is something that doesn't require a lot of thought. It really is just about following patterns. Okay, and once you have the patterns down, it really doesn't take any brain cells at all to use it. We're going to spend, as I mentioned, the next 2 weeks looking at APA. So I like to call this APA Boot Camp. We're going to go over everything in really careful detail so that you can leave this class knowing that you're an APA expert. In today's videos, we're going to focus on formatting, first of all, and then we're going to talk about something called the references page. Next week, we're going to look at how to do something called APA in-text citations. So we're going to chunk it up and we're going to go slowly as we move through things. The first thing I want to talk about are the formatting rules for APA. And APA is notoriously picky when it comes to formatting. So there are, tons of different rules that you need to follow as you're setting up a document. Okay, so it has to look a very specific way. There's something called the running head, okay, which appears at the top of your paper that's part of APA. APA rules also cover page numbering. It covers the essay title, which needs to appear at the top of the first page of text. It uses double line spacing throughout the text. The rule is that you can only use Times New Roman or Arial in a 12-point font, and your margins have to be set to 2.54 centimeters. These rules are very specific. So you see how picky it is, right? Even your margins have to be set up to very specific measurement. But before we go on to this, I'm going to ask you if you would like a present. So I have created a present that I would like to give you, and I placed the present in the week 3 folder. What I'm giving you is a template that is completely formatted correctly and follows all of those rules that I mentioned before about the margins and about the placement and everything else. So before we go on to our next video, I'm going to ask you to open up the file called APA Pre-Formatted Paper. I'm going to be using that particular file in our next video. That's your present, by the way. And I'm going to ask you to open it up because we're going to talk about some of the specifics with APA form using that template. But again, know that all of the work is done for you. I've done all of the measuring and all of the formatting, and I've set it up in that particular file so that you don't need to worry about any of those picky little rules. Okay, so I'll talk to you in our next video, video number 2, where we're going to go over some of the formatting issues using the pre-formatted paper. I'll talk to you then.